Hello everyone. Today we're off to a rare find. A restaurant where the inspiring and beautiful interior was the equal of the inspired and delicious food, making for an unforgettable experience. Another second Chinatown gem. Stick around. One of the dishes today was a true standout and will assuredly be on our list of top Vegas Chinese dishes coming out soon. You're not going to want to miss this one. I know I'm American, but I grew up helping out in a Chinese restaurant in Torrance, California called The Tea House. I was just a teenager. The owner, Rose Song, called me her adopted son, and it was in my youth that I developed an umami addiction. To this day, I still crave the complex, bold, and unique flavor combinations of Asian food. We feel so fortunate to have stumbled across this restaurant. They've been around for only a few years, and have already garnered a much-deserved high Yelp rating. It's not only beautiful and inviting, but the people working here are gracious, and you'll immediately feel as though you've stepped into their home as a welcomed guest. Join us today at Yu Xiang Korean Chinese Cuisine. Yu Xiang is a Chinese term that describes a very rich sauce. It contains soy sauce, sugar, vinegar, chili peppers, fermented bean paste, and fresh garlic, ginger, and onion. Wow, it would have been easier to list what's not in it. If made correctly, it should be well balanced with sweet and sour notes, bursting with umami. This sauce originally came from the Sichuan region of China and literally means fish fragrance. Strangely enough, the sauce doesn't contain any fish. I believe that the name here implies a deep umami flavor that packs a punch. This term is used rightfully so in every sense. The flavors here are all so powerful, and we love this place. The romantic in me wanted this lovely story to be the impetus behind their name, but alas, the server told me it was due to some other usage of the term, which had nothing to do with food or restaurants. Oh well. Right off the bat, they bring you several pickled items. Throughout the meal, there were Blvds as often or as much as you desire, and wow, they are delicious. We both absolutely love these daikon radishes pickled in a very sweet, sour brine. They're just fantastic. And if you're a fan of cabbage, then you're going to love this cabbage and pickle mixture. They also give you these slices of raw onion to dip into their fantastic homemade black bean sauce. I'm sure I'll regret this later. I love raw onion. Unfortunately, they don't love me. We started off with this fantastic appetizer, with chicken wings. Before you decide to order these wings, make sure you have a pile of napkins handy, as the wings are going to make a beautiful mess of your hands. But they are so very worth it. Of course, you'll need to decide if you want something wonderful, and if not, then move on to the next thing. I wish you could taste these wings. They are fantastic. So crunchy, the sound almost hurts your ears when you bite into them. These are KFC, Korean fried chicken, at its finest. Only the first dish, and already you can tell they have a talent for frying here. I'm going to have to order some other fried things if they're anywhere near as good as these wings. They're not a bit greasy, and the sauce is wonderfully sweet with a hint of spice. Okay, I know a lot of you have noticed I love my Chinese mustard. Man, it goes so well with this sauce. The mustard's a great flavor enhancer to these wings. Look how moist they are on the inside. These are not to be missed. Look at the size of these huge prawns. I have to say, these are some of the freshest shrimp I've ever tasted. It's always so funny to me that I lived most of my adult life and had a restaurant in Hollywood. We were just a few miles away from the ocean. But somehow, Las Vegas has fresher and better tasting shrimp than we did in LA. Maybe it's because we have all the casinos out here and finest restaurants, and the huge demand allows us to get the first choice of the best seafood available. Anyway, I digress. This dish is magnificent, and maybe one of the best versions I've tasted of honey walnut shrimp anywhere. The shrimp are crunchy enough to stand up to the sauce without becoming soggy. I'd bet money that they're battered in cornstarch, and there's little or no flour in them. The honey sauce is a perfect mixture: honey, sweetened condensed milk, and mayo. Believe it or not, this is a small version of this dish. They have one that's even bigger. The walnuts on here are little nuggets of gold. Mix them into a bite with your prawn, and you want to shout, Eureka! Look how beautifully cooked these shrimp are on the inside, nice and fried to the point of turning slightly pink, but still maintaining the integrity that a prawn has when it's not been overdone. If I weren't doing this video and have so many other dishes to explore, I'd have ordered the larger size of the honey walnut shrimp and been satisfied with having nothing else. Our server, Hey Jean, taught me to make a dipping sauce, and after following her directions, I realized it's very similar to the dipping sauce I make when ordering dim sum, with the exception that chili powder is used in place of chili oil. Just add in some vinegar, soy sauce, and sprinkle in as much chili powder as you wish, and voila, a wonderful Yu Xiang dipping sauce. There are a few things I love more than dumplings, except possibly homemade from scratch dumplings. I don't know where to begin with these delicious treasures, except to say I don't want this moment to end. I could eat 100 of these wonderful little treats. The dough is so thin, and yet has a wonderful chew to it. I love the taste of this wrapper. The pork filling inside, so well seasoned, sautéed with a perfect amount of garlic chives, garlic, and onions. The chef here really takes a lot of pride with these dumplings. You can see signs near the kitchen saying that they sell them frozen for those who'd like to take them home. I'm also loving all these sauces they give you. Hey Jean tells us they make the sauces fresh daily in the kitchen. This homemade chili sauce is also terrific. I'm in heaven with all of the sauces here. I always find it adds so much to the dining experience when these mom and pop places bring out a spread of sauces. So many flavor combinations to try. It's really exciting. Back to the dumplings though. The outside is perfectly toasty from frying them after they've been lovingly steamed. And look at the inside. This dumpling is so moist and juicy. Flavor is incredible. You have to get these when you come here. And maybe take a bag of frozen ones home with you. First of all, I love the fact that unlike most Chinese noodle houses, they give you scissors at the table when you're first seated to cut your noodles. We always hate having to fight with long homemade noodles when they're a mile long. Hey Jean was nice enough to mix, then cut them for us. I looked across the restaurant and saw other people cutting their noodles as well, and so I felt a little more at home. The pasta, so chewy in texture, nice and al dente. I hate overcooked pasta. Growing up in an Italian household, it was a sin to overcook your pasta. Of course, it was even more of a sin to cut the noodles, or to break them in half as you place them in the boiling water. But Italians don't tend to make their pasta a mile long as they do in Asian restaurants. This black bean sauce is pure gold. They make it here fresh daily, and it's superb. There's so much going on in this Korean sauce. I can only guess what's in it. I can tell there's pork, fermented black beans, garlic, onion, and soy sauce. But beyond that, I'm struggling. The sauce has hints of an almost burntness that just adds to this decadently rich umami flavor. There's something very comforting about this noodle dish, and I'd love to mindlessly sit here and eat the entire bowl. I love taking a bite of this and then a bite of the daikon pickle. The flavors play off each other so well. There's a symphony of flavors here at this table, and I'm getting drunk off the rich harmonies. Okay, sorry for sounding like a broken record, but the food so far is terrific. For those of you who know me, you know that when I don't like something, I certainly don't hold back my opinion. But I'm really loving this food and the experience of dining in this beautiful restaurant. The interior is tastefully decorated and adds a warmth and comfort to dining here. It's a real treat. This crispy fried chicken is crunchy and light, not at all greasy. I bet it's also battered in cornstarch, and that's what gives it this wonderful texture. The spicy garlic and chili sauce that's tossed in is amazingly rich. I know by looking at it, you might think it's sweet, but you'd be wrong. It's very peppery, and the flavor of the garlic is both tame and intense at the same time. I guess that would translate to it being perfectly balanced. The flavor is similar to that of a Kung Pao chicken, but with a Korean flair. I just love the fact that the crunch holds up to the sauce, and it remains completely unscathed. The flavors here are all so unusual. I'm loving this place, and I can't wait to see what you all think of it as well. Look at how beautiful this chicken is. The coating is very light, and the meat very moist, not at all dried from being fried. highly recommend this dish. Crispy sweet and sour beef. I'm not going to lie to you, this was my least favorite dish. While I did really like the crispy fried beef, I was not loving the sticky sweet and sour sauce. Again, the beef was fried very crispy in a cornstarch batter. It held up on its own, and I loved dipping it into the various sauces, but I didn't care for the sweet and sour sauce that came with it. In addition to an odd taste, it had a very off-putting texture. Perhaps it's an acquired taste, as I was enjoying it more as I kept at it, but the texture was difficult to get past. Thick and gluggy, more like a congealed gelatin than a sauce. Not at all what I was expecting. They also gave us a huge amount of it. If I were to have finished the large bowl provided, my teeth would have started dissolving right there. As I say, I did come around to the flavor, somewhat, but I much prefer the Chinese to the Korean version of this dish. I did love the crispy beef on its own. It was very crunchy and not greasy. The sriracha sauce was my favorite sauce to dip it in. That was a match made in heaven. They have a whole host of lunch specials available, and we decided to order several. The lunch specials come with soup, chicken egg rolls, and white rice. We started with the lunch specials soup, which is a fish soup. Well, this must be an acquired taste, as it was way too fishy for me. I was not a fan. I do love how spicy it is, but the flavor leaves something to be desired. The egg rolls, though, wow, fantastic. I'd be happy just eating these egg rolls. They're definitely homemade and different than any I've ever tasted. The pastry wrap is very flaky, almost bubbly. They're very crisp. The interior is a different story. They're filled with a delicious chicken and vegetable mixture and almost a slight curry flavor. These are perhaps the best egg rolls I've ever eaten. As many of you have probably heard me say, Madame Wu set the standard for what the perfect Kung Pao chicken should taste like. Well, this is pretty darn close. Perhaps a little on the sweet side, but delightfully spicy and a nice wok hei toasty flavor. I would order this anytime, and I will for sure be back here again to get it. It's nice and fiery, and the beautifully charred red peppers impart a wonderful flavor to the chicken. The protein has been singed on the outside, but it's not overcooked, still moist and flavorful. In case you haven't noticed, it's also a lunch special, so we have more of those incredible egg rolls to eat. These lunch specials are a great deal for your money. They give you enough for 2 people, and not too many onions or other fillers. Many places have resorted to using an overabundance of onions and peppers to offset the costs during a tough economy. I always love getting Kung Pao chicken, but sometimes I'm reluctant because I set my standards too high for this dish. But I know you're going to love this one as much as I do. This Mongolian beef is quite impressive. As you probably know by now, I'm very difficult to please when it comes to Mongolian beef. We've thoroughly raked over the coals a number of restaurants that served substandard Mongolian beef. But here, they passed all my requirements with flying colors. It's nice and charred and was made in a searing hot wok. As an aside, you can see there's a lot of red peppers in this dish. I was taught from my former mentor, Rose, that when you see red peppers in a Chinese dish, they're not to eat. They're there to warn you the dish is spicy. And this dish has a nice level of spice, but not overpoweringly so. I was also told that if the dish has red peppers in it, that they're there to give one the option to make the dish spicier by breaking them open just prior to eating. Anyway, I'm loving the bell peppers and onions. The sauce is really a nice peppery flavor from lots of white and black cracked peppercorns. It's a rich brown umami soy-based sauce that has a playful and delicious complexity. Slightly sweet, but all in all, a great balanced and deep taste. What a great orange chicken! Impossibly crunchy, yet very clean tasting, no greasy feeling at all. And look at the inside of these chicken nuggets. It's dark meat. I'm used to most places making a chicken dish like this from boneless breast meat. Maybe that's what makes this orange chicken so outstanding. The sauce is not too sweet, but yet has a lot of orange flavor. Not too spicy, anyone could eat and enjoy this. Again, I love these egg rolls. This orange chicken is just right. No more spice needed, just the right level. This may be a contender for one of our best of the best list. Next time I'm here, I'm going to order this and petition for no fish soup and a double order of these wonderful egg rolls. Ah, heaven on earth. Okay, I'm not going to even pretend I know how to pronounce this. I'll just say it's a Chinese-Korean dish, and wow. It's not only our favorite thing we've ordered here today, but one of the best dishes we've ordered in any Vegas Chinese restaurant. I saw this dish float past to the people at the next table and asked Hey Jean what it was. After hearing her description, decided to give it a chance, and I'm so glad we did. When I dream of a pork dish nightly, this is what I conjure up. But sadly, rarely can I find anything to satisfy my dreams. Yu Xiang met and surpassed my desires. There's no sweetness here, just deep, rich, savory, porky goodness. I love the julienne pieces of pork and green peppers. I also love all these shredded green onions on top. They're terrific to mix and mingle with this fantastic dish. I'm glad they provided all this sauce. It goes perfectly on the white rice. I could eat this every day, all day. And it, for sure, will make it onto our best dishes list in an upcoming best of video. The sauce is beyond good. It's almost a peanut and soy flavor. I'm enjoying this, and I'm not going to pick it apart and analyze it as I usually do. Just eat it and enjoy it and tell you that you have to get it. In fact, if you just get one dish here, this should be it. I'm sure my future pork dreams will now be irrevocably altered due to this fabulous dish. Don't miss it. Yu Xiang bills itself as a Korean Chinese restaurant. As such, we were confused as to exactly what the food would be like. Would it be an attempt to blend the foods of these two cultures into a single dish? A fusion, so to speak? Or would it have the best of both worlds with no crossover in a single recipe? While we didn't try everything on the menu, it seemed more the latter. Some Korean dishes and some Chinese dishes, with little to no mixing of the two. Well, however you want to define Yu Xiang, one thing is unmistakable. This restaurant has top quality, highly flavorful food, served within gorgeous, almost enchanting surroundings. There's so many unique and wonderful flavors, from the pickled apps and amazing wings, to the fantastic chicken dishes. And of course, lest we forget, our new favorite dish, which I can't even pronounce. I think you're going to love this place, and we highly recommend it. This second Chinatown is really heating up, and it's fast becoming a piece of Las Vegas you don't want to miss. And if you do give it a try, who knows, maybe you'll see us there. And make sure to tell them, Let's Eat Vegas sent you. I know we're all guilty of watching YouTube videos and not participating. As a reminder, please like, comment, subscribe, or even become a VIP member. It means a lot to us, and it helps us grow and to bring you more reviews. Until we eat again, bon appetit!